video, you might be thinking about putting your house for sale soon, and you're probably trying to figure out what renovations you need to do before you put it on the market. I'm here to save you some time and money with my top list of items that you should be doing and a couple items you should not be doing before getting your house ready to go on the market. I'm Larissa, I'm a local Washington realtor, and I'm an expert on the Seattle suburb. If you have questions about selling your home in the Seattle suburbs, there are a ton of free resources down below, or you're always welcome to reach out to me or get on my calendar directly to schedule time and chat about your home sale. So the first thing on my list for getting your home ready to go on the market is taking inventory of the major projects that need to be done in order to make your home saleable. What I mean by this is anything that could potentially stop your home from appraising with an FHA or a VA loan. And of course, if you need a rundown on what those items are, primarily that's going to be foundation, roof items, and paint items that could potentially cause issues with those appraisals. Now, FHA and VA loans are both government-backed loans, and they're going to be much more strict on the quality of your house and making sure there's no major things that need to be fixed. This often looks like interior and exterior paint, any damaged areas like water damage or fire damage, having a working stove and working heat, having a roof and foundation that are in good condition as well. So those are, of course, going to be your primary items to do when getting your home ready on the market. There are some homes that are sold as is, and that is totally an option as well. If you are wanting to go that route, I have some other recommendations for you about what you may or may not be able to do prior to getting your home to go on the market. And if you have questions on that, leave a comment below or check out some of those downloads, because getting your home in an as-is sold position, it looks very, very different. So assuming your home is ready to go in fairly clean condition and you're trying to figure out what upgrades you need to be making prior to getting it on the market, here's my rule of thumb. Anything that would be considered move-in ready items are the things you want to focus on. That means if your flooring is completely trashed, you need to replace the flooring. Same with walls. If the paint has scuff marks on it or crayons all over it, you need to do some painting as well. The biggest things to focus on here are picking neutral colors throughout the entire home and trying to keep similar colors throughout as well. So if you have one wall that's bright pink and another wall that's bright teal, let's neutralize that by painting all of it the same nice grayish type of color. Grayish is a really awesome color choice because it mixes this blend between gray and beige, which allows people to see both cool and warm tones when walking through your home. So replacing major items like carpet and paint are almost always going to give you a return on your money because they're items that people need in order to move in. I know a lot of people have this idea of like, well, I don't know what the next buyer is going to want, so I'm just going to not do the work and I'll credit them on the back end. And while that could work in some markets, it doesn't work in all. I would say as a default, you're probably going to want to plan to make those changes or have a conversation with your local realtor and make sure that that is what's marketable in your area. Besides flooring and paint, a lot of people have questions or thoughts around redoing countertops, bathrooms, kitchen remodels, and I would say as an overall rule, not to be doing those things. There are exceptions and there are definitely markets that warrant those items to be fixed, but as an overall, I would put that on my no list of things to not touch prior to going on the market. Instead, having a realtor who will actually stage your home is going to give you a higher value return and get you exactly what you're wanting without you having to put the time and money into new finishes that may or may not actually pay off. You see, with staging, people are able to see the home in an entirely new light. It feels homey, they can see the shape of the room better, and they have an idea of what that home is going to feel like once they move in. And they oftentimes can look past minor things like outdated countertops or appliances. Some other things that I highly recommend you do prior to getting your home on the market are going to be back to appraisal items, and that is carbon monoxide detectors, carbon monoxide and fire detectors, as well as earthquake straps on your water heater. Those are all items that will have to be done prior to appraisal, so you might as well get them done now before you ever go on the market. The other minor improvement I see that gives you a huge bang for the buck is doing exterior landscaping and touch-up of exterior paint. Making sure the approach to the house is pristine is going to allow people to fall in love with your home before they ever set foot in it. That means adding small landscaping features like new plants, touching up the grass, throw down some new fertilizer, and touch up the paint on the exterior to make sure that you have a really clean, crisp exterior and entrance to the home. And then smell. Smell is a huge factor when people are looking at homes. And the old wives' tale here is that you want to have a home that smells really nice and pleasing, and that's not entirely true. What you want is a home that doesn't smell like anything at all. And so neutralizing scent, but not plugging in air fresheners and not lighting candles, those can actually impact some really sensitive people to make them not want your house. You want to neutralize all smells as best you possibly can, replace carpets if needed to get rid of some of those pet smells, and just have a house that smells like nothing. And then here's some things that you do not want to do prior to getting your home on the market. You do not want to go in with any bright, bold paint colors. I unfortunately see people do this a lot where they get very excited about painting and they paint a color that they like. But what they like isn't necessarily what the general population likes and what your market will buy. So what I mean by that is I actually had a client who was so lovely and chose to paint the entire exterior of their house prior to going on the market. I thought this was fantastic. I was really excited to see their home being freshly painted, and I rushed over and I stood outside their house in shock because they had painted it lime green. And I kid you not when I say lime green, the color lime you're thinking was the entire exterior of their home. Yes, we sold the home and it was fine, but I do think that they could have gotten more had they not painted their house that color. So if you are thinking about painting interior or exterior, keep it neutral. Grays are fantastic colors, but just keep it neutral. The other thing I do not recommend doing to your house is any major construction changes throughout the property. So that means a kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel are almost never going to get you back the money that you put into it. Unless you're doing the work yourself and you yourself are a licensed contractor, it's very unlikely that you will find value there because there's just not enough margin on a remodel. And in our area, a remodel is extremely expensive. So again, if you are a contractor, you're able to do the work yourself and get wholesale products, yes, there could be a good return there. And in that case, I would just highly recommend you talk to your realtor before making any changes. But if you are not an expert in that field, I would recommend leaving it alone and just trying to sell your home with some really nice staging and get the most possible out of it. Hopefully that was helpful, learning a couple ins and outs of what you should and should not do. And if you have more questions about what changes you should and should not make, feel free to leave those comments below.